Dan Cooper, welcome to Cooper's Cogitations. We're still in Plymouth with the Mayflower Pilgrims. Their peace treaties and their treating the Indians as brothers was not, unfortunately, it was not reflected in some of the other settlements. And later on in America, it was not always that way. However, for the Pilgrims, it was. Now, they had a problem feeding themselves. Now, the problem with feeding themselves, Bradford will illuminate. All the while, no supplies were heard of, nor did they know when they might expect any. So they began to consider how to raise more corn and obtain a better crop than they had done, so they might not continue to endure the misery of want. This is called the starving time, where it's called the starving time. At length, after much debate, the governor, with the advice of the chief among them, once again, you elect your good people, tens, 50s, 100, 1,000, you elect your good people. You tell them what you need, tell them what you want. They talk about it, they negotiate, and they come back with a solution that you accept or you don't accept, and you do it again. The advice of the chief among them allowed each man to plant corn for his own household. Wow, private property. And to trust to themselves for that. Trust to themselves for that. In all things to go on in the general way as before. So every family was assigned a parcel of land according to the proportion of their numbers, with that in view. For present purposes only, and making no divisions for inheritance, all boys and children being included under some family. This was very successful. It made all hands very industrious, so that much more corn was planted than otherwise would have been by any means the governor or any other could devise, and saved him a great deal of trouble and gave for better satisfaction. The women now went willingly to the field and took their little ones with them to plant corn, while before they would allege weakness or inability, and have compelled them would have thought great tyranny and oppression. Whoa, wait a minute. So when they had all things common, the rich like the poor, the women didn't want to work. Why should I work? Me and my children, we have to stay home. You work. But now, when it's, hey, you want to eat? You go plant your corn and raise it. They all went. What a concept. The failure of this experiment of communal service, which was tried for several years and by good and honest men, proved the emptiness of the theory of Plato and other ancients, applauded by some in the latter times, that the taking away of private property and the possession of it in community or the government by a commonwealth would make a state happy and flourishing, as if they were wiser than God. Oh, what did God say? In 1 Timothy 5:8, but if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he have denied the faith, and it's worse than an infidel. Take care of your family. Take care of your family, guy. 2 Thessalonians 3:10, for even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. Government welfare is out, folks. These people tried it. Doesn't work. For in this instant, community of property, so far as it went, was found to have bred much confusion and discontent and retard much employment, which would have been of general benefit and comfort. For the young men who were most able and fit for service objected to being forced to spend their time and strength in working for other men's wives and children without recompense. A strong or resourceful man had no more share of food, clothes, etc., than the weak man who was not able to do a quarter of what the other could do. Wow. This was thought injustice. The aged and graver men who were ranked and equalized in labor, food, clothes, with the humbler younger men thought it some indignity and disrespect to them. As for men's wives who were obliged to do service for other men, such as cooking and washing their clothes. Yeah, that's back when you had hand washing. Yeah, I want my wife to wash George's underwear. Yeah, that's gonna make me feel good. She's gonna like it too. They considered it a kind of slavery, and their husbands would not brook it. This feature of it would have been worse still if they had been men of an inferior class. If it was thought all were to share alike and all were to do alike, then all were on an equality throughout, and one was as good as another. And so if it did not actually abolish those relations which God himself set among men, it did at least greatly diminish the mutual respect that is so important should be preserved among them. Let none argue that this is due to human failing, rather than this is the communistic plan of life in itself. I answer, seeing that all men had this failing in them, that God in his wisdom saw another plan of life was fitter than this. Folks, government assisted capitalism has been tried in America for hundreds of years. I grew up in the South. I saw blacks. I worked with blacks. I fought blacks. They fought me. We played together. We had other actions together. 80% of the black families, black children, had two parents in the home. I passed by their churches, and they were Christian churches singing Christian hymns. They came in with government housing called the Florida Projects. Overnight, almost, it turned into a cesspool of drugs, sex, and violence. They gave them welfare. Remember Johnson's War on Poverty, and they started giving people checks. And Pop would come home and Mom would be a little overweight, and he would say, hey, government's taking care of you, I'm out of here. Boom, he's gone. Mom would want to go get a job, wouldn't want to do this, want to do that. Hey, hubby, get out of here, I have my check. When I was a assistant finance manager, there was this black woman with 7 children by 5 sperm donors making more money than me. She had her welfare. Folks, it doesn't work. It destroys people. They told you this from the very beginning of our country. They said private, free enterprise, capitalism, private property. What do you own today? What do you own today? You don't own your car. You have to pay for it, taxes every year. You don't own your house. You don't pay it, you lose it. They tell you how to build a house. They tell you how to have a business. They tell you what to do with your children. Got to send them to school, compulsory education, and you're going to have to pay for it. Their children, but I don't have any. You have to pay for their children. Theft. The whole government program is legal plunder. Frederick Bastiat, the law. Go read it. Very destructive, folks. It destroys human relations. It makes people resent each other. Why do you think there's so much violence in Democrat black cities? Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, New York, others, New Orleans. They're soft on crime. See, back then, the punishment fit the crime. Nowadays, they let people go. In San Francisco, you can steal $900 from a store before it's theft. A lot of places you can go out and rape, either heterosexual or homosexual rape, not get prosecuted. Yeah. Okay. So, should be about time. Thank you very much.